Hi everyone, welcome back to Painting at Home. I am Jean Moss. Today is a very special Monday. I get a lot of fans who write in or ask me, Jean, when are you going to do a self-portrait? We would really love to watch you do a self-portrait. Would you do one? And my answer is always the same, no. But I will do a bridge. That's what we're going to paint today, is a bridge. I'm very excited because I one time did drive over a bridge, though I was asleep in the back of my uncle's van, so I didn't actually see the bridge. I've never actually seen one, but luckily we do have Google. So let's give it a go and see what's happening. We have our tinkling music in the background. I hope you have a wonderful beverage today, perhaps, a glass of wine, maybe a glass of ginger ale or Gatorade, maybe a Mountain Dew. Who knows? Who knows? I did try a Mountain Dew one time, and I was so surprised that that's what the dew of a mountain tastes like. Nature's wonder. All right, we're gonna get started with this bridge. So I'm gonna draw a little bit of a quaint bridge. From what I saw in my Google search, we have a few types of bridge options. We have a larger scale city bridge, or we have a smaller bridge. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw a smaller bridge because, as you know, I do love trees and I do very much love water. So we're gonna draw a little bit of water, a little bit of trees, and then a beautiful little bridge here. I'm gonna get started with my wonderful, wonderful big brush here and some blue paint. Let's dive right in. I've added an extra palette of paint today to my little paint palette here. So I'm gonna use a little bit of that and a little bit of this blue that we already have, and then, oh, why not throw in a little bit of green. Very exciting. So I'm going to draw this water. Now I have a horizontal shaped canvas today, and I'm going to draw my water. Look at this. I'm going to start all the way in the back here, and then I'm going to draw it forward. Already looking amazing. Now some of you might be wondering, that's interesting water. But I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to play with depth today. Here we go. We've got a little bit of water, and I'm going to just go ahead and do a little bit more of that. Here's our water. It's going to go all the way to the back, all the way to the back. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint that here and down to the front. And I'll show you why. This is sort of starting in an interesting place, but I have a few tricks up my sleeve, and I'm very excited to see how they work out. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that. That's going very well indeed. Very well. Let's grab a little bit more of that paint, a little bit more of that blue. And I've got two shades of blue going here. We're just drawing the water, drawing the water. So far, so good. Now comes the fun part. We're going to take some of our green. Now I have a few different shades to play with. So I've got a lighter green, I've got a glitter green, and then I've got a darker green. And I'm going to catch a little bit of that brown. Now we're going to draw some trees today, but I have a new texture pattern we're going to draw. It's just little dabs. Here come my little dabs. I am using watercolor. Watercolor. Now these dabs are just my little trees, and I'm going to just sort of carry them over into the water. So I'm dabbing to create a bush-like texture. Now, one thing we haven't talked much about are bushes. I love a good bush. A big, thick bush is what I love to look at. So I'm going to draw a few of those bushes. Here's my bush. Here is my bush, and I'm going to just kind of take this off the page. And what is kind of fun about this spongy texture, the sponge is actually giving me just a wonderful bush-like texture. So we're doing a little bit of that staccato action, right? And I'm going to capture a little bit of that green, a little bit of green, and a little bit of the dark green, and then how about some brown? How about some brown? And we're just going to go ahead and keep going with that bush texture. There we go. This is coming together so nicely. And I'm just catching a little bit of the water. One thing we've talked about with watercolor is just how runny it can get, but it creates such a wonderful texture. And with this bush, you're getting a little bit of the rundown factor. Let's go ahead and give the doggie what she wants. Open that door there for her. There you go, my sweet. All right, and then we'll go back to our little bush texture. So I'm painting little bushes here, and I'm going to paint just up all the way to the top, and then we'll capture that again on the other side. So we've got bushes and bridges. How about that? Let's see. So I'm going to go all the way over to the other side, and we have our other little bushes. Now I might make these a little bit smaller. Over here, I've made a very large bush. You know how much I love large bushes. Now over here, we're gonna make a little bit smaller bush. And I've got my water, and we're just creating a little bit of that dab texture. I'm gonna take it all the way down. And what might be kind of fun, I just discovered this new technique with my brush. What might be kind of fun is to sort of create a little bit of rock too with that texture. So I'm gonna take my brush again. I've dabbed it, cleaned it off with a little bit of water. We're gonna pull, maybe some white and maybe a little bit of black to create a little bit of rock down here. Here's our rocks. Looks great, beautiful. So for those of you just tuning in, we are drawing today for the first time sort of a bridge landscape, and I've drawn a little bit of water here. I'm just going to kind of fill that in. Filling that in, I'm going to catch a little bit of water that's already on my palette here, and I'm going to get a little bit of that blue. I have a brand new palette too. What I have with my new paints is sort of a jewel tone, and I love that. So I'm going to take some more of that water, and we're going to draw a little bit more water over here. So we've got our water right in the middle. We're drawing like a little bit of a river, and then the water is going to escape to the back. There we go. And then maybe catch a little up here, and a little in the back there. That's wonderful. Here's my water. That's beautiful. And now, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to wait for that to dry. I'm going to add some taller trees in the background, but I think I'm going to switch my materials out. So let's see what that feels like. And you can use whatever materials you like. I am using today, I have my paints, I have my marker, and I have some crayon. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with that crayon, and I'm gonna create some trees in the background. How much fun will that be? So I've got my bushes here. I'm gonna just clear off this water here at the bottom. Let that dry a little bit because we're going to be drawing a bridge. So that's very exciting. Now what I'm gonna do is take my coloring crayon, and I wanna create, maybe some branch work back here. Here's a little bit of branch work, and I'm just kind of drawing a couple of little doodads just to capture them off the page. And if you were with us last Friday when we draw that big old forest, I'm drawing these little branches, and I'm going to do them on this side as well. What I'm actually going to do then is take some wonderful paint, right? And we're gonna just fill that in because it creates such a wonderful texture. Now I have my trusty skinny brush as well. So let's grab the skinny brush, and I'm gonna take a little bit of black, dip that in a little bit of water, and then let's take our brown, catch our black, and let's do a little bit of color over this. So these are my trees a little bit further in the background. They're behind my bushes. Now I've done an interesting little texture with my large brush, and now I'm just doing broad strokes. Strokes and bushes. That is what we are exploring today in this painting. This is a painting with, we will be adding our little bush, and I'm just drawing these branches over here and creating a little bit of texture in the background. We're going to make that a little bit more abundant in the background, and I'm going to add a little bit of that circular gesture. You know how much I love good circular stroke. So I'm grabbing my green, and I'm grabbing my black, and this is so doable at home. So doable. And I'm gonna just take a little bit of that dabbing stroke we were doing, and I'm filling it in the background, just to create various kinds of greenery in our little scenescape here today. It is a bridge. Oh, how much do I love a good bridge. As I mentioned before, I did drive over a bridge one time, but I was asleep, so I've never actually seen a bridge. But I can certainly imagine, and I feel like, somewhere when I was in my sleep, I could feel it. I could just feel the rocky terrain, and I could hear it. A little bit of that steel and wood. You can hear it in your sleep. So I'm capturing a little bit more of that green, and then some of that black as well. I'm just doing kind of a fun little stroke here, creating, and maybe there's a little bit of runoff. So we've got our bush, and we've got these lovely, let's call them ferns. Why not? You can color and draw whatever you want, but I'm drawing ferns today, and I might draw a couple of other bushes in the background. So I'm going to do the same thing, same little guys, these little rascals, right over on this side, and oh, I might just kind of play around. I might just play a game of telephone or something with these little branches. It's so fun to explore texture in plants. So many different kinds of plants in the world. So I'm just going to kind of draw and do that little texture and fill in. So we've got my big bush, right? My big old bush, and then we've got these wonderful sort of fern type things in the back. What's wonderful too is the brush is going to capture the brush of the fern. I don't know if you've ever seen a fern before. I haven't, but I love the name. Here we go. But from what I know, they do have littler leaves, and we're just going to explore that in the background. This is working out just so beautifully. So now we have our water, and we're going to create a little hillside as well in the back. So let's go ahead and explore what that might look like. I'm going to switch over here to a greenish sort of kind of a greenish marker. We're just going to draw a little bit of a terrain in the back. Here's my terrain, and we're going to blend that with our water. So there's our terrain, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to go a little bit dangerously here, just a little bit. I'm going to take the thinner brush, and we're just going to kind of fill in that water in the back, right? So it's sort of grabbing and going, just sort of a grab and go. And then eventually we're going to get to our bridge. But I want to create the scape of it first. There's where my water is going to go. There's where my water is going to go. And then let's fill that in with our big old brush here. Call him the big guy. That's what I named my big brush. You can name your brushes whatever you want to name them. Maybe the big guy, maybe big chief, whatever you want. And we're just going to kind of go back. We've got a lot of water here on this one, so I'm going to just fill that in and clean that guy right off the old wall there. And go back, I'm going to dab a little bit and then grab our paint just to kind of fill that in. There we go. Look at that. Now this is kind of creating abstract sort of value to this painting, and I love that. You know how much I love the word abstract. So we're just grabbing and going with a little bit of that green. Boop, boop, boop. And I'm just doing various textures. Sometimes it's fun to just kind of look away and let your hand do the work. Let your hand do whatever job it needs to on the page. Great, so here's our little, just kind of greenery, and then we'll draw that wonderful bridge coming up here. But I'm allowing the water to dry. So I'm going back to that little texture that we talked about in the beginning, that bush texture. But then I'm just gonna kind of look away and let my hand do the job. There it is. Let's do a little bit more of that hand work, sort of a hand job, if you will, and fill that right in. Look at that. So now we've got our water, and we're just about ready here to begin our bridge. So I'm just going to even things out. That's wonderful. Even things out. Just give me a little bit more even. This looks so wonderful so far, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to dive into that sky. All right, so now comes the fun part, our bridge. So we're drawing a bridge today, everybody, and I'm so glad everyone's joining on Monday. I'm just kind of wiping things off here. And now we're going to start our bridge. Now bridges, for those of you who don't know, are connections over between land, right, that usually goes over water, so you don't have to go into the water. If you want to go into the water, I really recommend it. Water is quite nice. I've taken just a couple of showers recently, and I can tell you there's nothing quite like fresh water on one's body. Okay, so I'm just dabbing, making sure this is all nice and dry, and then we're going to add our bridge. I imagine my bridge, I'm going to start with the flatter surface. So here's just one side, and we're going to draw across our water or to our other land. Look at that. And I'm using this wonderful brown marker, and I've created a couple of diagonal lines here just to capture you can actually walk over this bridge. And then why don't we go ahead and add, well, just a couple of legs to that bridge, but they're going to fall right off the page into the water. And we'll kind of blend that later. So we've drawn our little bridge here. I'm just going to go over that. You can do some wonderful shading with markers. I highly recommend you give it a try. I really do. It's so much fun. And we'll go ahead and blend that a little bit later. But I want to start to draw now an arch to our bridge. We love an arch to our bridge. So we're going to go ahead and just start right here. Oh, and I'm going to take that all the way over. Just a little bit of an arch. It's running through the water, and I love that there's this sense that maybe there's even a waterfall in the background. And a waterfall just means excess water that is falling. There we go. And so now maybe taller people can be on this bridge and they can just sort of hold on to the railing. It's an option for you. If you like to hold a good railing, I'm going to draw one more little arch here. This is on the underside of our bridge. And as I said before, we are using a little bit of marker here just to sort of outline. I do feel like we've all come such a long way from when we first started painting at home. We have so many wonderful materials to play with, and I'm just kind of drawing some lines. One thing that I've seen about bridges, they're very geographical indeed. Very geographical. I'm going to even draw just like a line here. Oh, maybe a line here. Just a couple of little railings. Now I'm holding onto my wall so I can really just kind of anchor my wrist here. Get a nice clean line. Nice clean line. It really is all in the wrist. Quite a bit of painting happens in the wrist. So we're just drawing our little shapes here. Oh, and I'll draw a couple back here too. Now I want to get a sense that this railing happens behind. So I'm going to just kind of do that. And again, I'm really anchoring and getting it into my wrist for those clean lines. I am loving how straight these lines are turning out. Boy, are they coming together so nicely. Little rascals. I've got a little swing music sort of in the background. You can hear that, but how appropriate. How absolutely appropriate. Who knows where this bridge is going? Maybe to a saloon. Oh, I don't know. Your bridge can go wherever you want it to. And I'm going to just kind of also add a little bit of an underside here. Oh, this is coming together so nicely. Just shade that bad boy in. And there we have our bridge. Perhaps there's even a little bit of a, oh, I don't know. There's something back there. I just get this sense that I just want to walk right over the bridge. Who knows? Okay, so we've got our wonderful bridge. Now I'm going to go back. I have never tried this before, so let's get a little crazy. I've never gone over marker with paint, so we're going to play a little bit around with this. Now I'm not going to put too much water because what might happen is the bridge might do a little bit of running. So we're just going to be very strategic as to how, and what you'll hear is tapping of water. We got that really good and tapped out there. This is all on the wrist. Okay, I think we've tapped our water. Great, so I have a saturated brush without it being too damp. All right, so I've got some wonderful gold. Maybe we have a copper type bridge. Now for those of you just tuning in, I have these wonderful sort of iridescent, which means a little bit shiny, right? Paints today. Just such a treat whenever we get new materials in here. I just love it. So I am going over with my paint because I want to sort of blend these materials together, and I kind of want to create a little bit of a shadow. This is what I think living dangerously, living on the edge must feel like. Absolutely. So we're just kind of going over, creating a little shadow. Now I didn't put quite as much water as I probably needed, so we're going to go back and try that one more time. But I'm using a little bit, which is creating sort of a bronze or a copper. It's just wonderful. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so far, so good, everybody. All systems on this painting, on this bridge, are indeed a go. And I'm also going to fill in, I have a little bit of my brown, a little bit of my bronze. I'm going to fill in kind of behind it, because what you want is you want to be able to walk on this bridge. You do not want to fall through on the bridge. that could lead to a disaster. Because one thing we don't know about our bridge and our paintings in general are certainly how far down they go. So I'm just filling this in, and it is turning out really just very beautifully. Filling that old boy in there. Wonderful. So we've got a little terrain, we've got our bridge, and now I'm going to fill in just a little bit more water down at the bottom because I want to get a sense of movement with my water. Those of you who know me know that I do love water moving. I'm going to capture a little bit of that iridescent, and just to live a little bit on the edge again today, I'm going to add a little bit of that glitter. And I'm just going to fill in down here. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Just filling in, and so far so good. What I'm also doing is I'm trying to get a sense that this waterfall is falling, so I'm creating these sort of circular movements, a little bit stiffer wrist. A little bit stiffer wrist here. Hello, those of you joining, it's so good to have you. But what it's doing is it's creating a mist factor at the bottom, and I'm just adoring it. Just adoring it. That is just gorgeous. Great. Now we're just going to create a little bit of movement in that waterfall. So far, so good. So now, let's jump back really quickly to I'm going to do a little more tapping. Right off there. I'm going to go back a little bit to my plants, to my bushes. I'm going to create a little bit more texture. So I'm going to take the shorter edge of my brush here, and I'm just going to go back to that little texture. Oh yes. And I love that the water is kind of running down here. Oh, not so much. There we go. Because it's creating a little bit of this just wonderful movement in my bushes. I love a big old bush. Catch that water there, and then I'm going to go back and reintegrate that water. Here we go. Let's do that on the other side. Just even things out over here. What I love about watercolor is how much you can just manipulate it. It's beautiful, just beautiful. And then let's even out our terrain here. Maybe create a little bit of shadow, and then we'll jump right into that sky. And I love what's happening because what's happening is it's creating a little bit of a back shadow. Oh, that just couldn't have turned out better. Could not have turned out better. Terrific. Let's jump into that sky, team. I know we've all been waiting for it. Oh, how about we use a little bit of our crayon? Now, I imagine today is a little bit of a gray day. A little bit of a gray day. So I'm going to go ahead and use a little crayon, and I'm just going to start shading. This is a beautiful crayon. And what we established, one of our earlier episodes, is that I'm using paper. So on the back side, my wall has a little texture. So that texture is indeed shown through on the paper when I do this broad crayon stroke. It's just remarkable the resources we suddenly have if we just play. Just play with yourselves. Play with your objects, with your houses, with your friends. Now this color we're using, wonderful color, one of the my absolute favorite words, periwinkle. Terrific color. Who knows what it means? Who came up with that name? I don't know. Perhaps a fellow named Perry, I don't know. It's so wonderful. Okay, so what I'm running into is that smaller brush texture on some of these fern-type trees. And they are absolutely exquisite. Just exquisite. Wonderful. Now I'm going to also take this, everybody, and what's really wonderful is because it's a cloudier day, we are going to draw some cloud patterns. All right, let's get started on that. So I'm going to actually go back to that littler brush, and we're going to use a little bit more texture. I know. I always throw in a little more texture. I always do. Okay, we're going to grab that brush. I'm going to play around here. I've got this wonderful purple. And I'm going to take a little darker purple. Let's make sure I have enough. And perhaps a little bit of black. These are darker clouds today. That's wonderful. A little bit of purple, a little bit of black. And we're just going to play. Here's a little cloud. And I'm doing just littler strokes and littler textures. And one thing I might try to play with, maybe this cloud's going to go behind that tree. And maybe come down a little bit. is beautiful. Wow, that really worked out. Let's do another one. How about purple, a little bit of black. Let's go over here. I'm gonna draw a couple of little guys. Oh, there's one. And maybe this one. I need a little bit more water. We're just finishing up here. I hope you are all having a wonderful Monday and have a safe and wonderful weekend. I would love to see some of your work. If you ever send me some work, maybe we'll have a look at it live on the air. So we've got one cloud over there and we've got another one. And what I want to do is capture the movement of this cloud. So take a little bit more water. I'm loving the way this is looking against that wonderful periwinkle color. Oh, periwinkle, what a bold and wonderful name. And then let's take this one down just a little bit, maybe behind. And maybe this one's a little bit crooked today. Oh yes, this is just remarkable. Take this one down a little bit further, and I'm now doing just sort of a little thicker and a little more crooked today. Little cloud, maybe a cloud back here. Oh yes, that little rascal back there. This is great. And now, as always, we love to add our little birds. So let's pick maybe something complementary to that purple. How about this purple? This is called denim, which is a bluish purple. Let's take our birds, and maybe there's some just flying underneath this cloud. Here's one. That's wonderful. That's great. And maybe there's a couple down here. And it's very easy to draw these birds because you just have to draw the wings. It's so easy. You can absolutely try this at home. A couple more here. There's one more. And maybe right here. Great. And let's draw a little bit of texture. Oh, that is just terrific. So let's zoom in and take a look at this magical bridge. Here we have it. Today's our bridge structure. I love a good low-hanging cloud there. And what you can see behind that low-hanging cloud is just a flock of birds kind of dodging that thick, ominous cloud. Here's our bridge. A little bit of terrain in the back. Just beautiful. I cannot even imagine the kinds of bugs or wildlife that live here. It's really magical. I feel like now is a perfect time to go find a wonderful bridge and just stand on it. See what kinds of things happen on a bridge. Anything can happen on a bridge, around water, wherever you like. Go stand, go think about what really inspires you and what makes you feel your deepest artistic feelings. I encourage all of you to do a little painting at home. Please have a wonderful Monday, and we will see you back here tomorrow at 5 p.m. This is Painting at Home, and I am Jean Moss.